Only get one life, swear I almost died twice. I went triple platinum more than 3 times. What a life, man. Feel like God wouldn't have blessed me with the trade dice. And I left ass on red, even though it wasn't tight. And I ain't married yet, so it's rocky on my right, man. And I'm on stage by myself and with the hype, man. Go ahead and tell me what your price is. Mine's at 100 feet, nigga. You can't swipe this. Up my appetite the way you bitches be bites. Then I'm off no sleep, day shift, flip the night shit. Whole quick, asking when I'm free, I'm always priceless. I ain't really rocking with you. I ain't on that mic shot. Man, I'm going right in. I ain't waiting around. Fuck all that. I'm going right in. I ain't really rocking with the type of shit you type in. That little shit you flex in. Ain't nothing when you got it. If you could fit it in your pocket, just stop it. If I lift it to my head, you know that's really some light shit. That's just how I'm rocking. I can't wait. I'm going right in. Jumping out the I can't wait on you. I'm right in. Get one life, swear I almost died twice. I went triple platinum more than 3 times. What a life, man. Feel like God wouldn't have blessed me with the trade dice. And I left ass on red, even though it wasn't tight. And I ain't married yet, so it's rocky on my right, man. And I'm on stage by myself and with the hype, man. Go ahead and tell me what your price is. Mine says 100 B's, nigga. You can't swipe this. That's the mentality. Stack the fatality. Take them off gradually. For real fans that got it tatted me. My brother Jalen Rose got an academy. This shit is not a game. What you mean I'm at the point where a nigga finally famous, give a fuck about no fame. Ask me what my LLC is and for my chain. If I die today, that's how I live up to my man. Niggas call me big like this shit really my name. You know how I'm coming, I ain't even got a claim. The shape of my life, she had the Christian getting trained. Going against me is worse than going against the grain. At the front, I give a fuck about no pain. I for real could feel a gallery of wood in my frame. You ain't coming high, I ain't running around, bitch. I'm going right in. Yeah, I'm going right in. That's just how my life is. Only get one life, swear I almost died twice. I went triple platinum more than 3 times. What a life, man. Feel like God would have blessed me with the trade dice. And I left ass on red, even though it wasn't tight. And I ain't married yet, so it's rocky on my right, man. And I'm on stage by myself and with the hype, man. Go ahead and tell me what your price is. Mine's at 100 like, bitch, I'm priceless. I'm at Fort Field like a tight end, and I'm making sure all my and tied and I'm in love with the hustle, so it never tied in. I ain't seen her after years, she just let me ride it. Shit off the dome, and shit off the dome, going right. I ain't even right. But this shit be already written.
No change.
I need like 2 snacks, big and clean. I call my pocket the new home. You don't pay attention to no.
All right, let's get started. This is Master Power tapping in on Levels of Mastery. Here we are. We do this every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Man, how valuable is it to be able to come to terms of acknowledging your next level of mastery? How important is that? Because you see, when you're not acting or what's the word? What's the flavor I'm saying here? Like, you know, when you're not fully like indulging yourself into this thing that we call life and watching, man, what is it really going to take for me to get to this state? That's something I'm noticing. Like we're all passing through different states to get to the out, you know, how can I put this, man? Like, look, everybody has a goal. Everybody has this final stage that they see everybody, or they see themselves becoming, right? We're all looking to achieve the full potential. But somewhere down the path, somewhere down the journey, there becomes moments where we're complacent or we're comfortable. We're okay with where we are. And this is why when individuals are faced with the challenge of, hey, let's go, let's get to the next level, right? Communicating better, having better relationships, having more money, having more business, right? Establishing business, teamwork, working with teamwork, like this. There's always new there's always a new level in what we need to build on within ourselves to be able to bridge the gap in those around us and how our environment is responding to us and getting more money. And here today, we're going to be breaking down a couple things on what it takes for you to break through your character. Break through your character. How are we going to break through our character? Well, first we got to be able to realize that there is a next step. There is a new level. There is an accomplishment within us that, okay, we've accomplished a lot, right? We've, for some people, they've, graduated school. For some people, they studied. For some people, they became, whatever in their field. They've accumulated all this knowledge to become something that they claim a title in this life. But then what's next? What is the next level after that? What do we do after we accomplish what we set out to accomplish? And this is where it's a tricky thing. It becomes a tricky thing when you don't have a true connection, what we call God, the divine source that guides us in what we're doing, right? The one that we connect to when we just have this knowingness that we don't have to think about. One thing that I'm realizing, I have been coming to realize, is that, man, a lot of things that I've built my life on was on false information, false references, things that I was so, man, this can't be, or this is how it is, things like nature. That's the beautiful thing. When you're aware there's a new level, you could become an example of what God wants you to be by becoming more aware of what you need to work on in your life. I can't emphasize that enough because, a lot of people are avoiding what we call stats and things that are how we want to live. Like, for example, like, what are your results? What are you getting out of things, right? Are you doing things just to do things? Is there a purpose behind it? Is there a reason why you're taking as much time as you think you're taking to accomplish things that you're taking? Or are you just saying, I'm just doing my best, so it is what it is? Or do you actually have some kind of practical plan on how something can become achieved? Now, of course, granted, we all don't know how long something can take. It's so many variables that play out when it comes to life. But what it comes down to is that how have you come together with a plan that's going to help you continuously keep facing this thing that we call the ego, this thing we call the I, this thing that we're making these claims of as if we have control or any control in life. And then some of that masters the next level of mastery will have to understand that no matter how much they choose to own certain tools, they have to let them go at some point. They must be let go. You can't own anything. And that's the thing. We're walking around trying to own things, right? Well, I did this and I did that, and I don't need to do this anymore because I'm doing that, and I can't do this. Let me do this. It's like the ego is finding its way to trap itself within itself, so it can feed off of the comfortability that you may have in your life. And that's something that I'm seeing, not only within myself. This is my nose ring. Check it out. Like a knife with like two moons as at the handle. It's pretty cool. I'm trying to get another one. I want to get another one on this side. Random, right? Because I'm always working on the next level, who I'm becoming. If it comes down to getting a piercing or getting a tattoo or shaving a certain part of your head or growing out your hair or there's so many different things that you can do that helps shift and help shape this new level of who you are. And one thing I'm seeing is that a lot of people need to start facing the fact that there are new levels for us to discover wherever you are. And it comes into the saying or the teaching. It's like, you got to go over there across the river. You got to take the boat from here across the river, But when you get across the river, you don't need to carry the boat anymore. It's that understanding with knowledge. You do what you gotta do to get from here to there, but you gotta let go. You gotta let go of that, because then you're carrying on all these things that's not necessary anymore. It's completely not necessary. So this is why knowing what your next step is, you gotta know what boat or what vehicle you gotta put together to get you from point A to point B. And once you get there, you gotta, I want to say quickly, but like it becomes revealed to you. And that's what I want to start talking about a little bit more, is that, see, when you start to put yourself in the rhythm of counting stats, getting the results in certain things, like what? Things that's I consider very high value, being able to communicate properly, being able to create this characteristic of who you are that attracts money, that attracts high value men, that attracts women, that attracts more opportunities. People want to be a part of what you have going on. Now, there should be things that you're doing that's working on that, but not just doing it just for the sake of saying, well, I'm doing it and this, that. No, you got to know what's the next step after things are unfolded. So let's face the results that we're either getting or not getting, right? I believe a character should naturally, when you work on your character properly, working with social dynamics, working on having a better routine, a better process on how to make money, that should naturally attract money. That should naturally attract relationships, people that want to be a part of something that is working, that is flowing, that is sharp. See, these things naturally attract these things that we're quote unquote trying to work so hard to get. This is where in spirituality, they say you don't have to do anything. You have to just be. And I know we hear that a lot. And what does that mean? Well, you got to realize that what you want is already here. I'm sure you heard that somewhere. I'm not going to say it's me, but we all heard that whatever we want is already here. It already exists. It's about the individual that falls in the same frequency of that thing, by knowing that it's capable for them to become or be that, to attain that car, that money, that status, that job, that relationship, that business, whatever the case may be. But you got to be on it. You got to have a sense of direction of where you're going. Now, here on Levels of Mastery, at least here on IMC TV, one thing in particular is that I just scratched the surface on certain things. I don't really go deep in on this. I'm letting the world know that there is an individual called Master Pyro that knows a lot of things that he's studied, that is able to share with anybody that can tap into this reservoir of experience. There is all available for, that's available for everybody, right? Everybody can experience this. But this is not the place for me to sit here and like try to convince people, because I'm not trying to convince nobody. I need people that knows, hey, there is something called a potential. There is something called the next level. How do I keep mastering myself through the process of each level that I go through, right? Instead of me just doing what needs to be done, that's just the next task. And then I get to the next level and it's like I'm going through life with my head down, just only focus on just this one or two things. And yes, you got to have some kind of an understanding of like, you got to stay focused on things. But what I am saying is that you can't get caught up in these things. People get caught up on, okay, I got to do this. I got to go live. I got to go talk to this person. I got to go do this. I got to make business here. I got to do this and that. And it's like they lose track on the overall reasoning of what they're doing. And they're so indulged in trying to get this result or whatever that they lose the essence of becoming. They're still trying. There is no trying. It's similar to like the video that I made here on Levels of Mastery called Make It Till You Make It, or Don't Fake It Till You Make It. You got to become. You got to understand the elements of what it means to become something. So you can drop all the other shit and you can embody this thing that you know that's capable for you. Because who else is going to give you this gift of change but yourself? Who else is going to give you that ability to say, you know what? I truly want to, I have truly let go of this thing that I thought that I am called I, whatever that contains. And I'm going to let the will of God flow through me. Why? Because God knows my heart. He knows what I want and what I don't want and what I see fit for my life. I don't need to sit here and ask and beg and hope and wish, and that needs to be removed as much as possible. And anytime I catch myself thinking like I need to wish for something or all that, no, I've the moment I'm doing that, I'm going the opposite direction of creating and becoming. Because when you become something, you create at the same time. It's hand in hand. So we got to start facing our results more. We got to start knowing that, hey, man, me doing this activity is not making me money. Me doing this for X amount of time is not making me money. I've been doing this for X amount of time. I haven't got X amount of results. Or even if you're doing something, there could be a possibility and a chance that you get so caught up in doing it, it almost diverses you. It almost like strays you away from the path a little bit. And now you're getting really good at doing something the wrong way. And that's something that's very important, because a lot of people are thinking they're doing things the right way, but because they're not putting themselves in a position to be not only corrected, but exposed to a different level of what they're trying to communicate and do, that they end up becoming redundant in the same actions, and they can't see like, oh man, I went a long way. Like J. Cole said, you went a long way, but turns out you went the wrong way. All right. That's basically what it comes down to. All right, y'all. So this is something that, it needs to be faced, because the more it's ignored, the more that area of life begins to stale out. Right? That begins to be staled out because it's not attended to. It's not being, the seeds that's being planted in that area in our mind are not being rooted properly. They're not being sustained properly. So when the fruits begin to, bear, if you will, begin to be apparent, they're sour, or things are not aligned properly. We're missing this flow of being in the present moment. Man, tapping into the AZD, IMC Nation philosophy and process has, without a doubt, changed my life to a whole new level. Without a doubt. Learning transcendental meditation, doing yoga, having a wake-up time, doing a cold shower, indulging in information that helps me become aware. Because see, change is instant. I get it. Change is instant. Like the moment the thing is that when we read something and we're like, damn, that's so true, it's inspiring, we feel the shift. And either two things happen. Either one, we like neglect it as if that wasn't a real thing that we had, so then we're trying to just ignore, or it hits us, we're inspired, and then we try to change something about us. We're trying to do something about it, which then entangles us more in that activity, trying not to do something. This is where just acting, sorry for a whole bunch of messages, man. That's more freeing. It's more freeing to do that. All right. So what are the results that you're getting? What are you doing throughout your day? How is that adding up to money? How is that attracting more relationships? How is that attracting more business? How is that attracting more health? How is that attracting more connections, a stronger network? How is that another tool in your arsenal that you can master? Now, I highly encourage everybody to go live. I highly encourage everybody to participate in things that help push that part of you to grow. But always avoiding it, always, doing it half-assed, just showing up to just say I showed up, just to be in attendance, it's not enough. When you get to a certain level, just showing up is not enough. You got to be able to see things more than what they are, because you see, I might be perceived a certain way, but you got to get to know who I am as a person, so you can you can find out how to be in alignment with me, like how I need to find out how to be in alignment with somebody else. So I got to stay true to my values. I got to stay true to what makes me move in the most purest way in life. So as I move, anybody in that frequency will be glad to be in alignment with me without me having to figure it out too much. Because if I try to figure it out and try to do something about it, I could stop more connections happening for me than connections working for me. All right, y'all. So this is Master Power tapping in. I'm about to go ahead and log off. I want to appreciate everybody for tapping in with me. This is Master Pyro on IMC Nation, IMC TV. You know, my goal of doing this channel is to get better at it as far as sharing not only information, but entertaining and informing you on higher consciousness, right? And it's more than just doing spiritual practices, right? Yes, of course, I have a spiritual practice, 100%. But I don't want people that's going to learn from me to get caught up in this, these jokesters out here when it comes to spirituality, right? It's a different kind of process. It's a whole different kind of process. The process is literally about getting back to the core of your essence as a man by connecting with the divine and what I call God, the one and only that has created everything above, that has created me in its image, that has given me life, that has given me consciousness. That right there is everything. That's what the process is about. Because you could do all this other stuff, right? People want to wear stuff like this or wear crystals and things like nature. Well, Pyro, you're wearing it. Yes, but there's a difference on the process that I don't have I have a different connection to things that I wear, things that I do. Because it's not about that. It's about my relationship with God. It's about how I can move in the spirit. Because that right there is what's going to help me to grow to the next level. It's not going to be the next thing I buy or the next person I'm with or the next business or somebody that purchased a service from me, whatever the case may be. That's not going to do it for me. Yeah, of course, that's going to help me with whatever that's helped me with, but I can't lean on that as the source of who I am. It's just not. This just doesn't make sense. So this is something that I like to keep on expanding on, having more guests, having a better setup. Right now the best setup I got is this lighting, like this nice light that just beams down. But I gotta start setting this up a little bit different. So once I work on that and I take that to the next level, it's gonna be very interesting how I, develop this. I look forward to doing that. Like I said, having guests, having other high-level men on here, having other females on here, so we can have this little dynamic where people can see how this knowledge is interacted with life, not just me talking on here. Because you see, it's a whole different version of what's really happening. If you see my Instagram, you're like, damn, well, that's everything I'm talking about here on Levels of Mastery and all that. Well, that's why I'm working on my communication, so I can communicate as best as I can. But everything that I'm expressing in these lives on Levels of Mastery is the result of how I live. So when you look at my Instagram and it's like, damn, yeah, well, listen to Levels of Mastery. You can find out how you can live that kind of life. That's what it comes down to, right? All right, this is Master Power tapping in. I want to appreciate everybody once again for showing up and to also, watching this live. Stay tuned to next week, every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, I have an Instagram for Levels of Mastery. It's called Levels of Mastery. And I look forward to next week that we meet. Y'all know the vibe. This is IMC Nation, the one and only J Guru Dev. Y'all know the fucking vibes. Let's go.